Hey everyone, thanks very much for coming along. I'm amazed by the reaction to the video that I put out yesterday about how I kind of found my best string sound of 2024. It was a very clickbaity title, but the clickbait seemed to work as like 2,200 of you tuned in within like a day and a half, which is amazing. So if you haven't given us a subscribe, now would be the perfect time, because who knows, if you enjoyed that one single video, there's a probability that you might like the other ones. There's absolutely no guarantee of that at all. But if you fancy it, now would be the perfect time to give us a little like and a subscribe for more of this content. So I'm going to do a kind of follow-up video of how I've basically finished off this piece and changes that I've made. The whole point of me filming it yesterday was so that I didn't spend sort of 700 hours mixing it and editing it and, changing every single part of it minutely, because this is going to get one listen by a producer and they'll need to say yes or no, and they won't hear the things that I hear, but I'm too much of a perfectionist to actually let some things kind of lie. So I was actually a little bit unhappy with how I'd programmed the performance samples cello part, and I realized that my velocities were way too high. Most of the velocities that I had when I was doing it were sort of up in the sort of 50s, and there were sort of more up here in the sort of sometimes high 70s. And I'm just going to actually show you the difference if I fling it all back up to quite a high velocity. And then to compare, I'll put it back to how I've got it now. To me, the front end of the note is far less now that I have much smaller velocity values. I was just finding that it was kind of just tugging at the sound a little bit. What I also have done, I mentioned this in the video yesterday, and I forgot to actually speak about it because I didn't actually put it in at all, is that I've put all the solo strings into this plate from Sound Toys, which I'd added in as part of the template already. It's got quite a significant pre-delay, and it's about a 1.2, 1.1 plate, and it just adds a really nice sheen to the sound. So I'm just going to solo the solo string parts and just go from here, and I'll bring it in and out so you can kind of hear the difference. It's just another way of kind of adding that kind of sheen and sort of cohesiveness to these different string libraries. That's without the plate, and this is with the plate now in. For me, that just kind of blends the sound a little bit more. Without the plate, it was just all the instruments kind of sounded a little separate. And for me, it just brings that kind of sense of cohesion a little bit more, like they are kind of all in the same room again. Now, obviously, I've got how many reverb channels? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reverb channels. Maybe I've got a problem with buying too many reverbs. But I do think that the plate adds a very subtle but nice kind of gloss or sheen to the sound, which I didn't add yesterday, but kind of on listening to it again, just thought it needs that little kind of sense of cohesion. Another thing while we're on reverb is I have added an 8-second reverb, at certain moments, just to kind of join the gaps, particularly using the Crowhill Company sustains, and at the end as well, just so it has quite a long tail, so I've kind of automated that in. It's really subtle, but this 8-second reverb just kind of glues the ends of phrases together. So I'll just go from here and play, and you can hear. So you can just hear, if you're listening on headphones or a good pair of speakers, that there's just that sense of the sound just going on a little bit more, and it just helps kind of bleed the phrases together a little bit. So this is kind of the final thing that I do. And then at the end of this climax, I've automated this reverb into all the solo strings and into the basses and Crowhill Company again. So going from the climax, you'll be able to hear how this is kind of just joining the climax over with the kind of the outro section. I'll just go from about here. Again, it's super subtle, and actually that starts a little bit early here. It's super subtle, but again, it's just kind of making sure there's no actual dead time in it. One other final thing that I did do is I actually bypassed this emulator. I've just found that it was deadening the sound quite a lot. So this is it. With it in now, and I'll keep kind of bringing it in and out, and hopefully be able to hear that it actually, when it does come in, it deadens the sound. So it's going to start out just now. And then this is it in, so as I had it in the video yesterday. So it was really affecting the sound, and actually I'm glad that I took it out, because even just listening to it now with much fresher ears than when I listened to this at like 2 a.m. this morning, it was just deadening and kind of dulling the sound a little bit more. It wasn't subtle enough. So I just put that in as a preset and sort of flung it in, and obviously with tired ears I couldn't tell, so that's why it was so important to come and listen to this again. So I'm now gonna go and master this, which won't take too much to do, really shouldn't take too long. Really just making a couple of very subtle color decisions. I do have a subscription to Access Analog, so I might run it through some expensive gear, which I would never ever be able to afford. But if you do have any further questions, I'd be really happy to get back to you. I'll link the original video down below in case you see this video first and you're confused why I'm just showing you the final stages. But I hope this was interesting to see how I finally kind of I've finished and made kind of decisions about this piece. Thanks so much. Please give us a sub. See you next time. Cheers.